Welcome back, everyone, to episode 8 of the Off-Flight podcast. Today I've got my co-hosts Brandon and Arthur with me, and we've got our guest Danica Whitsett. How are you doing, Danica?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Good. Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks for having me.
What you been up to lately?
I just got back from California, actually.
Oh yeah, I know we'll dive into that.
Yeah. How's the trip in general before we kind of
before we dive in deep? It was amazing. I can't wait to go back. But yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
Did you stop at the Oppenheim group again?
Not again, but I did, the other time. But I want to stop by again. Maybe I'll see one of the girls this time.
Yeah. What was that like running into him?
Oh my gosh, Jason, the sweetest guy ever, but it was crazy. I just couldn't believe it. I literally screamed in front of his face. I'm like, ah! Was
he like cool, like you would see on the show, or was he different in person? Because I know sometimes they're like that.
Yeah, Jason was super sweet. Brett, on the other hand, because we met both of them.
Oh, you met both of them?
Yeah, we went across the street and Brett was at the Starbucks, and Brett was a lot more like cold face, not very friendly, but
all business.
Yeah. But Jason was super smiley, like a super nice guy. He was like, "Want a picture?" I'm like, "You're asking me?"
That's cool.
That's awesome. Well, so I want to hear like a little bit about your story, about kind of what happened. If you want to dive into that.
Yeah, of course. So I went to school down at Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, and me and my two best friends, we were driving from Oregon to Arizona. My friend had just gotten a new car, and so we were like, let's make a road trip back. And we were about 30 minutes away from home in Phoenix, and they don't know what happened. The police report didn't really say like specifics, but we collided into another car, and then we started rolling, and I was in the back with no seatbelt on, so I got ejected out of the window into the median, and then I severed my spinal cord, T12L1, which is like lower back, and so right when I woke up in the hospital, they were like, "You're paralyzed for life," basically. What
was that like when they told you that? Like what was going through your head?
I don't know why. It's kind of weird, but like I kind of woke up and just knew. Even though I couldn't feel my legs, it was just like I just knew something was off. And so right when I woke up from my coma, which was 3 days later, the first thing they said was, "You're never gonna walk again." And so it was kind of harsh the way they put it, but also I was thankful because I feel like it really set me into this mode of, okay, well, how am I going to live life the same, or how am I going to get back to that? But I was really convinced in the hospital that I was going to be walking when I got out, so it was kind of a lot harder when I finally got home and had to readjust to life.
Yeah, reality set in.
Yeah.
So right before that happened, do you have any recollection, or like what was the conversation, maybe the song you were hearing, like what was it up until that happened?
Yeah, so it was like only like 5-10 minutes, I'd say, before the accident, and I was asleep in the back, like I said, but I had woken up and I looked at the driver at the time and I was like, "Hey, you good? Like, do you want me to stay up with you?" Because it was like 2 a.m. So I knew, that's hard to do for anyone. And we had been driving for like 2 days straight. So, and then he was like, "No, you're good. Like, no problem." And he said, "No problem, Danky." They call me Danky. But yeah, then I texted my grandma and I was like, "We're 30 minutes away," because she was all worried about that trip. And then I fell back asleep. And then next thing I knew, I woke up in the hospital.
Wow, gotcha.
Wow. And what year was this again?
2018. So this year will be 4 years.
4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when like adjusting back to I guess regular life, what do you think was one of the harder things, learning to be in the chair, and something that just kind of was difficult?
Yeah, I'd say, well, it's like you're starting over as like a toddler again, because you have to relearn how to pee, you have to relearn how to poop, it's like, sorry, TMI. But no, it's like everything you have to relearn, and you're so used to this everyday life, and then you go back to a place where you lived with your legs and standing, and then you're like, wait, this looks totally different, you know? So I think like, of course, like showering, basically even getting dressed was like a huge challenge in the beginning because you're so used to getting dressed the way you do every day. And then when you don't have legs, it looks a lot different. So I think just how long things take, everyday life things, but also like getting used to being around people, because it is weird for your self-esteem when you're around your friends or around your family that you've been around your whole life, and you have a whole new body basically, and the wheelchair is part of your body, and you're just like way shorter, and you know, it's like it totally shifts your brain and like how you just react to people in everyday life. So yeah.
I could assume there's probably a lot of weight on your shoulders from just, you know, going to like a family function and now you're in this situation, and maybe people's like what would you say, empathy for you kind of drains you as well, like.
Yeah,
right?
no, definitely. Yeah, it gets overwhelming in the beginning because now I'm kind of used to it, and I'm like, oh, you know, whatever. You're sorry for me. I get it.
Right.
Sorry. But like, yeah, when you're around your family and they're all like, when you first come back and they're like, I'm so sorry, like, how are you feeling? Like, you know, and I am one to like not talk about emotions very much. So I'm like, please stop talking about how I'm feeling, you know? And so, yeah, that was a lot of, or that was really challenging because it's like, I don't want you to see me as someone you have to feel sorry for. I just want you to see me as Danica, my normal self, like I've always been, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that, do you think, like, is it also kind of refreshing, like seeing everybody rally behind you at the same time?
Yeah, it was crazy because before I even woke up from the coma, everyone in Tri-Cities already knew before I knew, you know? So like I woke up and Taylor and Rachel, my best friends, they had made a GoFundMe for me. And right when I woke up, they showed me the news clip of when I was in the coma. And it was a lot of my friends, Taylor, Rachel, and some others. And they were basically just like talking about me and how much I've impacted the community and everything like that. And then they had already raised like something like $20,000 for my medical expenses. And I was like, whoa, like it was really amazing how the community came together in a time like that, and like came together for me. I was like, I'm not deserving it. No, but it was super sweet. And I felt really thankful and grateful because I feel like that support did help me as well, like get through that. And there were a lot of friends visiting me in the hospital in Arizona as well. And I feel like if I didn't have my friends there, I'd just be, you know, like during COVID, if I would have gotten injured during COVID with one person being able to be there, I feel like that would have been a lot different, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of support. You could
Yeah.
tell family, friends,
Yeah.
all that. If you don't mind me asking, how long were you in a coma?
Yeah, so it was 3 days.
3 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, with that, I do want to touch on the community aspect, because I feel like Tri-Cities in general, like, just it feels very tight knit, and obviously growing up here, you know, like it's got kind of that small town feel for a bigger town, and seeing the community, because I remember like when everything happened, and I remember the news and watching the news and seeing it, like seeing just how much the community rallied was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt really amazed. And I feel like at Tri-Cities Prep, where I went to high school, there's like such a tight-knit community also. Like, of course, I had my friends outside of Prep, but inside of Prep, like, I feel like the entire Prep community was there for me during that time. And, you know, my dad works there, but also I feel like a lot of people just know each other in that community because it's so small. And so that was super nice to see as well, but overwhelming, but amazing.
That's awesome. So when did you, I guess, you know, get into your huge deal? Like we were just talking about when we started the show, going to California, trips with that. Do you want to maybe like segue into how you got with TikTok? We can talk about the Rollettes.
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I think Miami, right? Too.
Miami.
Yeah.
Like,
What was first?
Those are the fun stories.
Let's flash forward.
Yeah.
Like, to now.
to that. Get to
You're
that.
ready to go. You're living life. You moved out to Miami. How it like? Yeah. Let's talk about just life.
Yeah, so I've always been a huge traveler. I've always loved to, go on adventures and move places. I've never been one to stay in one place for too long. And I didn't want the wheelchair to like hold me back from that. I was like, okay, I was just working on how to get myself back to where I was before the accident so that I could continue living life as I was. And so my friend had an apartment in Miami and she was like, hey, I'm moving back to Arizona. Do you want to take over the lease? And I was like, yeah, let's go. Fuck it. And so, me and my boyfriend and my other bestie, Vanessa, we went to Miami and we lived there for 2.5 years. I just got back in January. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, it was also really draining because I feel like I'm a yes person, not a no person. So, I was going out till like 7 a.m. and then I come back home and then go back out at midnight and, the cycle.
That's the Miami scene.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're living it up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But it was challenging just because there's literally like 0 wheelchair people in Miami. So going out and going on the street, like, so many people would come up to me and be like, I'm so proud of you, or I'm so thankful you're here. And, it is super nice to hear, but also I'm like, okay, just treat me like a normal person, please.
You're like, it's 7 a.m. I'm trying to go home. Like, I don't have the energy right now.
Literally.
How do you break the ice on that? Like, when someone's like giving you that weird energy because of your situation.
Yeah, whenever they come up and they're like, I'm so proud of you, or I'm so thankful you're here, I'm just like, thank you, and then they usually move along. But if someone there's been a lot of instances where people will just come up to me and they'll be like, so what happened to you? And I'm like, well, yeah. So I'm the type of person also to like not be like straightforward to someone. I'm just like, oh, car accident, and then I keep wheeling. But, or I'll just say, no, thank you, and keep going. But I'm never one to be like, yo, shut the fuck up,
do you mind sharing like your top highlight while in Miami? Like,
yes.
I don't know, what was the most memorable thing you left with?
There were a couple.
I'm sure.
I'd say, okay, wheelchair perks. I always get front row for concerts and shit. So I saw Jack Harlow front row.
Nice.
There were a couple famous people that I just like. Miami's such a, hot place for the famous people. So I did run into a lot of people, or I went to a lot of concerts. There was a lot of, Tory Lanez kissed me on the cheek. So that was pretty dope.
Shout out Tory Lanez.
Shout out Tory Lanez. We brought him up in a past episode with Jessica.
So how did that work? Like, you just ran into each other? Or like, what was the scene? Right? Like,
actually, it was New Year's when I like first moved there in September, and then New Year's happened, and we saw, there's always performers at the clubs there, or strip clubs or whatever. So me and Dom found this flyer on the ground, and it said Tory Lanez at this strip club for New Year's, and we're like, we're fucking going. And so, we went, and then I was like in the back when he was performing. He only did 2 songs, which I was like, whatever. And then, they moved us up to the front when he was like finishing. And then he was coming down the stairs towards me, and I'm like getting out my phone to record him. I'm like, oh my God, Tory Lanez. And then he just gets in my video and is like, happy 2022 or whatever. And he literally is like, I'm so thankful you're here. And then he just bends over and kisses me on the cheek, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? But yeah, and then he just left, and Dominic was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know. That was
Mr.
crazy.
Steal your girl coming in.
Yeah, it was super cool, but yeah.
That's cool. So that'd be the top highlight, you'd say, for Miami?
I'd say so, yeah. I think there were
cool.
a lot of highs.
I'm sure.
Miami was a great place, but, I'm glad to be back on the West Coast with my friends and family and
That's
everything.
awesome.
How does the cover charges work out there? Like, do ladies get in for free out there? Or?
Usually, yeah.
So you were living it up.
Yeah, like no guys usually go out in Miami. Like Dominic almost never went out on a night. But there are some clubs that are still free for men. You just have to find, the right ones. But a lot of them do charge like $30 for guys and $0 for women. And they would always let me cut the front of the line because of the wheelchair. So I'm like, winner.
There's the perks. Yeah, the perks, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. $30. You gotta have deep pockets out
I
there,
know.
That's
Or you're gonna
if you're doing that
camp
every
out at
night
one
too.
or
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Vegas is at least 75.
Dang.
Yeah.
Depends on the club.
That's wild.
Yeah.
75,
I
100.
didn't realize.
some
I
are
think
25.
being around here, nobody really ever charges any covers for so. It's like I don't
Literally.
know.
Not Tri-Cities.
That's not
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Jokers has like $5 covers.
Maybe, yeah.
I
Joker
heard
stuff.
they did $20 the other weekend
Oh,
for
really?
boys. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they're getting
crazy.
in over
Wow.
their heads a little bit.
Yeah.
So speaking of Jokers, you and Dom are super into like the comedy scene, right?
Yeah. Love comedy shows. And Dom actually got me into those after post-accident. So I had never been to one before then.
It's like, what do you think? What do you think your favorite like comedian you guys have seen? Because I know you guys have had a lot of those interactions where you could like go up and are talking with them and like.
Yeah, well, we just recently saw Sean Wayans from White Chicks.
Oh.
And
yeah.
that's like my favorite movie ever. So top one for me. But we also saw Tom Segura, he's huge. And he made me cry laughing, like cry. But actually just this last week, we saw Nick Swardson, the guy that's in all of Adam Sandler's movies. Yeah, he
great.
was freaking hilarious as well. So I'd say they all crack me up.
Have you been to any of the ones out here at Jokers?
No, actually, I usually go to the Spokane Comedy Club, or
okay.
in Miami, we went to a lot as
Oh
well.
yeah, I'm sure Miami. Yeah, they
Yeah.
bring in the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I want to go to check out the ones here at Jokers because
Yeah.
it's like $10.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And I'm sure. I mean, some of them have like Comedy Central specials and
Yeah.
guest appearances on like Netflix comedies
Yeah.
specials and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I don't know. I
I'm
feel like
sure
it's
they'd
kinda
be
cool.
funny.
Yeah, I'm
No,
sure.
I need to go. You've been trying to get me to go.
I
and
know. I've
Taylor
been
to go
dying to go to
forever.
Jokers.
Like,
yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
been to Jokers ever in my life.
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Salsa Saturdays. Yeah.
Check out Flight.
yeah. So, also one thing I wanted to touch on is like those. So you've sent me Snapchats of like these wheelchairs on the beach in Miami. They've got these big inflatable tires.
Yeah.
Like those things are fascinating to me. Like
Yeah, I really want to get one, like, just personally for myself to have at home, but they're like so much money. So I'm trying to like figure out how to build one, but they have them on Miami Beach. We lived in South Beach, so it was only like 3 blocks away, and they have electric ones, but they also have the manual ones, which I hate because, the electric ones I can just zoom by myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just have them to rent every day, and they're not for $0, so it's for free. And they do have them in California as well. I don't know about the electric ones. I haven't seen yet, but yeah.
What's the top?
I am
What's the
so
top
glad.
speed on those?
can you like you
They
ever
go
race
pretty
anybody?
fucking fast. No, I'd probably say like 20 miles an hour
20?
at tops.
So you could probably race like one of those Lime scooters or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, definitely.
Go whip around in the electric wheelchair.
Yeah. Makes it easier, way easier for the beach though, because my wheelchair, you can't even, I could never push myself
yeah.
all the way to the beach. Like Dominic has to help me. So
Well, that's cool that they have those.
Yeah.
Accommodating to you.
So
Yeah.
For sure.
when you were in Miami, you started doing some social media stuff. Like what kind of got you into that? And like,
yeah, I think I just realized because I started posting some on TikTok. I never even had TikTok before Miami, and then people kept telling me, get the app, it's so funny. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I still like don't even really scroll that often, but I started posting some just about the wheelchair life in general, and I saw that people really were interested in how that works and how everything works and goes. So I started posting more and more, and then I just started getting some followers and some more followers and some more. And then I was like, oh my gosh, people actually think my life's interesting, And so, I think it was just realizing that a lot of people don't know about wheelchair life and about all the things that go on behind the scenes, and being like, well, I can spread my message and also awareness towards the community as well.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have curiosity for that, you know.
Yeah.
They don't want to ask you like straight up, come and tell you, but in the back of their heads, they probably have that going on.
Yeah.
What's like the most out of pocket question you've ever gotten in the comments? Because I know TikTok, I mean, I know you're not a big TikTok guy. Arthur is.
Somewhat.
Dude, the TikTok comments are wild.
All the time.
It is like, it's insane.
I mean, it's probably the same, similar to Instagram. I mean, those are out of left field.
Literally. And this one I get in person and TikTok and Instagram, everywhere, actually. People are like, oh, can you still have sex? And I'm like, yes, I can still have sex. But, you know, a lot of people are like, well, how? Well, you're just probably sitting there. I'm like, no, that is not how it works. You know, I still have some movement, okay? I can be on top, okay? No, but I just, I get that one almost on the daily. And it's weird because strangers, even people I meet within 5 minutes, they'll ask me, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know you like that. You know? So, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, you almost want to be like, all right, let me just pin this at the top.
Yeah, let me just post my sex tape. I'm just kidding.
What's your just because we were talking about TikTok, what are you at, you know, follower count wise now? Because I know you've kind of popped off in the last.
Yeah, I feel like I still have more to grow, obviously, definitely. But and it's all from like this one video, really. But I think it's at 26,000 right now.
Nice.
So nothing like crazy or anything, but
well, you just kind of started it.
Yeah,
and it takes time, and like you said, you're gonna get more in tune with it. And think of new creative ideas. Which was the video that popped off? Is it embarrassing to share? I mean, your profile's public, so everybody could pull it up. I'm sure.
Literally everyone could pull it up, but it's about it's actually a sex story, but it's about me pooping during sex. Sorry guys, sorry Dad if you're watching.
So, we'll link the video.
Yes. No, because, you know, that's another thing that people were like really interested in, is because when you do become paralyzed, you have to get re-control of your bowels and your bladder and everything. And my boyfriend's super cool. He was just like, is this the cat's or is this yours? And I'm like, he held it in his hand. No, but you know, for me that was super embarrassing because I was like, oh my God, no one's gonna love me. No. But yeah, it turned out to be fine. So
shout out Dominic.
Shout out Dominic. The real one.
Shout out Dom.
So how many views did that one get?
Like over 1 million.
Jeez.
And
Some light.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
then a couple others have gotten like 1 million, just about making fun of like the accident and stuff like that. You know, I love my dark humor, so.
Well, I think that's probably helped you make light of everything and a very unfortunate situation, but you can just tell your personality is still, you know, strong, and you know,
Thank you.
Yeah. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Definitely. It also, like, I feel like that sense of humor that you have can help kind of diffuse some of those awkward moments, like where you get those out of pocket questions, and you can make light of it and move on.
Yeah. Like, people ask, can you still have sex? I'm like, can you?
Not with that haircut.
Exactly.
So you got big on TikTok. You're doing social media, and then I want to talk about the Rollettes a little bit. Like, because speaking of, you know,
recent
social
news.
media and influencer stuff.
Yeah, I was so excited. So the last couple of years, as I've been paralyzed, my dad had shown me the Rollettes page, like, in the beginning of my paralysis, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, like, that's super cool. And then I followed the girls on Instagram, and I was like, I think this is something like I really want to do, because me and Dominic are moving to San Diego anyways in July, and we've always wanted to live in California, and they're based out of LA. And I saw that it was just like a group of girls around my age in wheelchairs, like not letting anything stop them. And I was like, this seems really legit. And so they held auditions in January. And I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to apply. I'm going to, audition. And so I did. And it was like a month and there were like 3 interviews. And then I got the call that they wanted me to be on the team. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I was super excited, and so we had to keep the secret for like 2 months, and then we just went there this last weekend, and we had like they call us the Little Sisters, which is basically like the 4 new girls that are on the team, and then there's 2 returning Little Sisters from last year, and then there are 6 actually I think there's 8 full-time team members. And so yeah, we just went for the weekend to LA, and we filmed TikToks and we filmed content, and we did a dance video, and we just got to hang out as a team and everything. And that was the first time I've ever been in a room full of wheelchair girls, and it was like, because there's not very many wheelchair people in Washington either, and especially in Tri-Cities. And so it was so cool to be like around them and be like, what I feel like, because I could
actually relate.
Yeah, because I could sit here and tell you all day, Cam, like, oh, this sucks, and you're like, I'm sorry,
yeah.
but like you don't really, understand.
I'm not going to know it on that deeper level.
Yeah. And so the Rollettes, I feel like, was a perfect place for me, because I feel like they're super into social media, like they're super about like community and about giving back, and they hold the Rollettes experience every year in July, so it's at the end of July, and it's basically where a ton of wheelchair girls from all different countries, all over the state and different countries, but they fly to LA for the weekend, and it's basically like dance classes, pool party, pajama party. Like, it's just a huge hangout for like all the wheelchair girls to like feel, like they belong. And it's all ages, so it's like kindergarten through 40. And that's so cool. Yeah, so the Rollettes actually host that, and so I'm super excited to be a part of that as well. That's
awesome. And the Rollettes, that's kind of more, I mean, you mentioned a lot of the different things that they do for the community, and the internal community, but then like the community as a whole. But it's like a wheelchair dancing team, essentially. So it's just for those that don't know.
It's a wheelchair dance team based out of LA, but their huge thing that they love to promote is they want to teach people in wheelchairs, how to live boundlessly and how to shift their perspectives through dance and everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
You auditioned for that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that go? Do you do that in person? You do a video? Or what are they looking for?
Yeah. They made us memorize a dance in the beginning, and then we had like to answer probably like 25 to 30 questions on video. So like we just had to record ourselves for the dance in that part, and then we sent that in, and then if we got a call back, it was like a second interview with Bria, who's the other CEO of the Rollettes. She's an able-bodied person in LA, but she's super sweet as well. But yeah, so then we had to get like a final interview. It wasn't really an interview, it was more just like talking with Chelsea, who's the main girl. She's the CEO. She started the whole thing back when she got injured. And so, it was like a 3-step process, but yeah, just had to memorize the dance and everything.
How long's that dance? I'm wondering if we could do like part of the outro.
Yeah, we could.
A little dance. We got a wide open. We're at a dance floor right now.
Literally.
We're at the layover. So, I mean,
we should do it. Let's pull up.
It'd be interesting. At the end.
I'm like, I remember my dance from this weekend. So no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was like 30 seconds, so not too crazy. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's awesome. So with being out there just this last weekend and being surrounded by those people, was it cool? I saw you posted a clip and they had someone out, fixing all your chairs and stuff like that. Was that cool just to like have people not only that understand you but understand your equipment and like
Yeah.
know how to do it and work on it.
Yeah, that was huge. So Chelsea, the CEO, her husband is actually, he makes wheelchairs for a living. So
Oh, wow.
he works at New Motion, which is the wheelchair manufacturing company that runs out of Thailand. And so, yeah, he fixed my chair. My seat was messed up. Like he took off like probably like 10 pounds of extra weight that I didn't even need on there. So it's going to be so nice being in Cali and being closer to him because he does most of the Rollettes chairs anyways. So that'll be nice to have someone who knows what they're talking about and who's been around it his whole life to be like, okay, you know, I can fix you up. And so that makes me feel way better because my chair has been messed up for like a year now and I've been trying to fix it with, you know, the wheelchair company here. And my dad, he literally put lawnmower tires in the front because my little tires broke off. So, you know.
That's awesome.
When are you moving to Cali again? San Diego?
Yeah, so it's looking like first week of July.
First week of July?
Yeah.
Any other big plans? You know, you're making that transition out there. You're going to spend a lot of time with the Rollettes. Anything
Yeah.
else? Just improving, you know, social media,
Yeah.
making more content. Is that your priority?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm trying to work with my manager right now because Joe is the manager of the Rollettes. So
Okay.
he works for each of us individually.
Okay.
So he works on each one of our goals. My main goal is to be sponsored by Crocs, but he just got he just got one of the Rollettes a sponsorship with Nike. He just
wow,
got one
that's
of the Rollettes
sweet.
an audition for a movie in LA. He just, you know, he's really legit and really awesome. So he's just focused on like each one of our goals and like how he can provide for that. So I'm excited just to see what comes.
Maybe he can work you guys up like a Netflix special or something.
I know that would be
that would be
sick.
sick.
Or like you guys. I feel like that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything like
If they
that
did the
before,
formatting,
so-
like, you know how they did the cheer series?
Yeah.
Like, they could do that and follow the team. And
Literally.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we
Some
could be
drama
like-
in there. Some more
Yes.
games, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Throw in a
Just
fight,
put in
like-
some drama.
Yeah.
Throw someone out of their wheelchair.
some beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my boyfriend Dom, he's a screenwriter as well. So he's
Oh,
been talking
yeah.
about like we should write something about your life, and I'm like, oh, but who knows? We'll see. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We'll see, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
yeah, that would be cool.
That's cool. Crocs though.
Crocs.
So that's what you want. That's one of your main goals.
one of
you're
my main
striving
goals
for.
So
forever.
Why Crocs?
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of Crocs, even before the accident. Like Crocs have always been my shit, and now even more so after the accident because they're so freaking easy to put on. And I'm like, they save me so much time, but also they have so many beautiful colors. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, there's a lot of different colorways. Well, you have like Post Malone. He had like a Crocs.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Killing it
You're-
with the
you're
collabs.
You're seeing a lot of
Yeah.
like
Luke Combs,
celebrities.
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the Lightning McQueen Crocs?
no.
Bro, they're going for like 300 on StockX.
That's crazy.
It's
Like
insane.
cars?
They're literally like cars.
cars
Like
move?
they are Lightning McQueen Crocs. There's
Do they have the
nothing
eyes
special.
on
Yeah,
them?
they've got the eyes.
Oh.
There's
Didn't
nothing
know.
special about it other than just they look like Lightning
I would
McQueen.
buy 'em.
Dude, they are hot right now.
Yeah, I've never put on Crocs.
Oh my gosh,
They're
they're,
great.
so
You don't have Crocs?
comfy.
No.
Oh, dude. You get them
See?
once.
Like everyone's
I-
got to have at least one pair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your girlfriend usually convinces you that's how it works.
That's what happened with me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and I would love to be on an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Okay, there's another guy who lived in Tri-Cities who's been on Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, really?
And yeah, gosh, I can't even think of his name, but I'm pretty sure he went to Kamaikan.
Okay.
And that's always been my favorite show. But also, I'm like, they have so many wheelchair people on there that aren't actually in wheelchairs, but they could use one in a wheelchair.
I hate that.
Right?
I hate
Yeah.
You can just
that.
tell too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so speaking of that, tell us about the airports because you mentioned
Oh.
this to me, and
Yeah.
I've been looking for it every time I'm traveling now. About just the people in the wheelchairs that are wheeling through the airports. Like,
Yeah.
talk about that.
So most of them that wheel through the airports don't actually need a wheelchair. They're just like using someone to wheel for them, you know, because
Yeah.
they can't walk long distances. Sorry, not air quotes because they probably can't. But, you know, then, so I have to go from my wheelchair to an aisle chair. Then they bring me into the airplane and then I transfer from the aisle chair to my seat. And then once we stop like once we go to where we're going and then we stop and get off the plane, I'm last to get off so that they can bring the aisle chair in. But usually they end up messing up my chair in multiple different ways. They've messed up a bunch of my friends' chairs. They just don't really care about the wheelchairs. They just kind of throw them in, and it's like they don't really realize that that's literally the only way we can get around, So I feel like now they're getting a bunch of lawsuits thrown at them, and I feel like now they're starting to finally like care about how they do things. But yeah, usually they ask me every time, the flight attendants, can you stand up? No, I can't fucking stand up.
I actually need the wheelchair.
Literally, I'm like, nope, this is my legs. But I'm used to that. Some people are like, can you stand? Can you say? It's just pretty normal. But
that's crazy. Yeah, I feel like every time I've traveled now, I'm always looking and like I'll see the people being wheeled down and like, yeah, you see them. They stand up out of the chair and then they walk down the little thing to the plane.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh.
Interesting. Usually you can tell because there'll be people like me in those chairs, and then there'll be people that don't actually need it, and they're in those airplane wheelchairs that don't have wheels that you can push by yourself,
Yeah.
Someone's pushing them.
Well, I have seen, workers too, just folding them up and just tossing them.
Yeah.
So, those are getting dinged up. And like you said, you need that.
Yeah, and they cost like $8,000,
spending.
So it's like we can't just go get a new one, and it takes months, like 10, sometimes it takes like up to at least 4 months to get a new one. So
that's insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the equipment too, like, and the Rollettes, do brand deals and stuff come with that?
So we do get a backrest with the Rollettes team, but we don't really get any brand deals with wheelchair companies, just because Jay, Chelsea's husband, he makes all the girls' chairs, so he knows that he's not going to F it up because he's the one making it, So I think, like I said, I'll just feel so much better when I'm in Cali and I can actually get a chair by him, because he can't make a chair for someone who's not in California.
Does he customize chairs kind of to a degree? Or is it just, a base template and then maybe a couple things are customized here and there? Or can he actually like fully customize for every individual's different needs?
Yeah, he can customize basically to everyone's different needs. He did measure me last time I was there, and he basically gave me it and was like, if your wheelchair thing doesn't look exactly like this, then fuck it, don't do that, They usually use titanium as well because it's lighter. So I can get my chair in the car by myself if I'm driving. And but he just does certain things to the chair to make it lighter, but also like to make it fitted to the girls, because he said something last week when I was there, and I was like, wow, I never thought of it that way. But he said he fits tighter because it's your legs. He wants it to be a part of you, not wider, so that it looks like you're sitting in something, which I really like. So hopefully the next one that I'm getting soon will be perfect.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And the lighter one's got to help for, doing the dance routines and moving around, being a little more nimble.
Yeah, definitely. And even like the front wheels, like I said, I have the lawnmower ones, but like having the real ones on there, like it just makes such a big difference in going fast and like being able to push yourself, because I get stuck sometimes with those, and I'm like,
Dang. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just intrigued about the dance. I want to know what kind of moves you can do on there, like wheelies and stuff.
Oh yeah, we do all the wheelies. I love to wheelie.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned driving, so you drive.
Yeah.
So could you explain how you go about that? Like, somebody.
No, of course. I feel like that's a common one too, because you don't really look at a wheelchair person and think, oh, you can drive, But I drive with hand controls, so basically you push, like all of them are different. Some of them are just like push in and pull out for brake. So push in for gas, pull out for brake. But mine is like push down for gas and then push in for brake. And it's basically the same. I mean, I'm just using one hand to press and then one hand to steer. But
Yeah.
it actually was really like, I was quick to learn. I feel like it's really easy when you don't have your legs thinking, oh, I need to push the gas pedal, you know. It's not bad. Dominic tried sometime too, and they're really touchy, so we were like
Give
but
you whiplash.
exactly. But yeah, it's and then I just, when I'm by myself, I just take apart the chair, put it in the passenger seat, and then lift it over myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I can see it definitely how having the lighter chair, if you're pulling it all the way across and putting it in.
Yeah, because in the beginning with all that stuff on it, like when I first started driving, I was like it is, you know, really heavy to do. So that's why it's so important to keep them light, because they want you to be as independent as you can be, you know.
That's awesome that you're able to do all that.
Yeah.
I feel like some people might like milk it and they just want everybody to help them.
Yeah.
But you've kind of become independent and
Exactly.
able to go about that yourself, which is great.
Yeah.
So,
that's like huge for me, the independence. And I've told Cam before too, like in Miami, I couldn't shower by myself because our apartment was just set up so effed up. And so Dom would literally have to carry me in the shower every time. And I'm like, when we moved to Cali, we looked at apartments this past week, and I'm like, we are getting a bathroom where I can frickin' shower by myself, because that's huge for me. Just like the little things like that, the independence, even because I don't have my hand controls in our new car right now, and I haven't driven in like a year and a half now. And I'm like, even without that, I'm like, gosh, I just can't wait to have it back, because that's such a huge independence thing when, you know, it's like I can go as fast as I want. I'm not just pushing, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's been like a major how do you say it, thing I've heard a lot, where people get really hurt in an accident, and like the little things become like a mountain to climb, and they're like, dude, just scrubbing your back is incredibly hard. It's kind of crazy how that happens.
And we probably take that for granted too. Things like that. I feel like some people, but.
And it's crazy, you don't even think about walking when you're walking, but then when you don't have it, you're like, oh, I wish I could just move my leg, you know. It's it's such a thing that we do take for granted. And I feel like that was something I did take for granted too. I was just like, oh, I'm just walking along, just traveling, and I didn't even ever stop to think, oh, this might be a possibility. I knew nothing about spinal cord injuries before I had mine, so I'm kind of glad in a way, because it has taught me so much, and I feel like I can spread awareness too, because not a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah. How do you go about processing something like that? Because it takes a while. I assume it comes in waves. One day you're like really down about it. Another day you're like, I'm gonna make the best out of it.
Yeah, I'd say definitely comes in waves, and I feel like you could talk to any wheelchair person, paralyzed person, and they'd say the same. Where it's like some days you're like, oh, I'm living life. I don't even think about the chair, because it does become normal to your everyday life. And it's like, you don't even stop to think about it. But then there's other days where I get stuck on a curb, or I, you know, fall out of my chair, and I'm like, you know, it's like those types of things are like the little things that make you freaking frustrated for a second. But I feel like I didn't really process it until way later, probably like a year later, and I was like, okay, wow, this is my new normal, you know. Because when you come out of the hospital and you're like, oh, I'm gonna walk again, I feel like everyone thinks that way, and then you don't, and then life continues in your wheelchair. You're like, okay, I have to get used to it now, you know. So
did you notice, like, was it harder trying to do some of the old hobbies that you had too, and like things you enjoyed? Like, I know you were really good at volleyball, like stuff like that, where like adapting not only just your daily life, but like the things that you do to enjoy.
Definitely. I'm a huge volleyball girl, and I love beach volleyball, and now I can't even, you know, it's like can't even get to the sand to actually play. And if I did want to play, who wants to play with a wheelchair girl, because she can't freaking move in the sand, you know? And so that's hard. But also, like, I loved longboarding, and it's, you know, I loved ice skating, and, you know, I still do those things, but I mean, I don't longboard anymore, but I still go on the ice skating rink. I just go in my chair. So it's like kind of a mind shift of like, okay, I can do things, but it's gonna look different. And I feel like when I first got to Miami, I felt so judged just because of the chair and how I was doing things, that I let myself like stop doing the things that I loved, because I was like, oh, well, people are going to think I'm weird. People are going to look at me, and then I really quickly realized, like, fuck what everyone thinks. I'm going to do what I love. And if they have a problem with the chair, then that's their damn problem, So I think there's a lot of things that I do wish I could do, but then I'm like, Danica, you're fine. You can do it. It just looks different. Even I'm so competitive. Even, the basketball games, like the arcade game I play with Dom, and I just can't shoot as well from down here, and I get so pissed when he beats me. I'm like, oh, fuck no. I'm like, if I had my legs, I would beat you, just like stuff like that. And the ocean is another huge one for me. I used to just love sprinting into the ocean, and like, I still obviously can go in the ocean. It just takes a couple more minutes, and obviously the big waves like smack me and my legs go woo, but I still do it, and it's still enjoyable. I just had to train my mind to be like, stop it. You're good. You're still doing the things you were doing.
Well, I mean, I think you've been a perfect example of you can do anything. You just went skydiving, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that was amazing. I want to go 25 billion more times. It was so much fun. But in Miami, they don't have a lot of rules, and they don't have regulations and like safety and all that stuff. So they're supposed to tie my legs to the skydiver's legs so that my legs don't frickin' fly up when the parachute goes off, but they didn't. So we're going 200 miles per hour down, and I was living life, having fun. And then all of a sudden the parachute hits and my legs fly. You'll see, can see it on my TikTok if you want. I have a video. But they fly up out of nowhere. I don't even see it coming, and they hit me in the face, hit the guy behind me, and I literally sit there like, because it hurt so freaking bad. It hurt my back. But then after like 2 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm good. But I was sore for like a week. But next time I'll make sure they tie my legs.
But even with all that, you're totally down to go again.
Oh yeah. 1,000%.
How is that? So does it get like nerve wracking as you're going up?
See,
and you're like, oh my god, I'm really about to jump out of this.
I told myself.
I'm just thinking about it, dude. I'm not a heights person.
I see, and Dom wouldn't go with me. I went with Vanessa because he was like, fuck that. But I told myself before we went up, like, if you psych yourself out, you're gonna get up there and be like, no, I don't want to fucking go, So I told myself, just remain calm. So when we were going up in the plane, when it first took off, I was like, oh no, this was a mistake, But then once we were up there, I was like, no, I'm so ready. And yeah, I jumped first. I was like, let's go. And so it was amazing. A lot of people think that you'd get like butterflies, kind of like a roller coaster type situation, but it wasn't anything like that. It feels a lot more controlled, and you kind of just feel like you're flying. But the free fall was only like a minute long, so didn't feel too bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still sweating.
Well, even like
I want to do it so bad, but
you should definitely.
I went on a little plane out here. One of my clients took me out, and just that's crazy. I was just thinking the whole time, like, people skydive. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
like,
I loved it.
Normally, a lot of people, the only time you're flying is on a jet. It's comfy, quote unquote, because the seats kind of suck. But like, it's not. It's quiet. But I feel like those skydiving planes, it's like bare bones. It's kind of rattly.
Yeah.
Like that would psych me out.
It was. And I think like people told me beforehand, like the scariest part is just jumping out and then you're fine. So that's what I kept reminding myself too. Like, okay, just the jump, then you're fine, And I think the scariest part was when they opened the doors. I was like, oh shit, it's real now. Yeah, I just kept telling myself, you can't back out now, you can't back out now, you know. But definitely would go again.
That's cool. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're moving to San Diego soon. What is something that's like exciting other than the Rollettes, like that you're most looking forward to down in San Diego?
Yeah, so I lived there after high school for a year, and I absolutely loved it. Just the beach and all the vibes in California, like they just fit me, I feel. And so I'm most excited to go back to the places that I did go when I had my legs. You know, we went to Pacific Beach this past weekend when we were in San Diego looking at apartments, and it made me so emotional. Like, I didn't think it was going to make me emotional, but it did. And I'm just excited to experience it in a different light and to be next to the beach again, because, you know, I can't be far from the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be close now. So.
Yeah. In
cool.
our new apartment, well, the one we're hoping to get, we just applied for it, is in Mission Beach. So,
Oh, I was
or
just
right
out
off
there.
of Mission
Nice.
Beach.
Yes,
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's
cool.
a great place.
Beautiful area.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, with being in California, you get that kind of West Coast. You know, there's that stigma. West Coast people. West Coast is the best coast, right?
Yeah,
But
they
like
retweet.
everyone's just in general nicer. Are you excited for that versus Miami? I feel like the East Coast, there's kind of this stigma. Like people are
Yeah.
kind of, you know, blunt, and a little rude.
Yeah. Like,
No offense to Miami if
No.
you're listening. Like,
sorry, Vanessa, she still lives there. No, I loved my group in Miami. Like, I had some bomb ass friends and still do. Love you guys. But for the most part, yes, it's very true. Like, East Coast, I lived in Virginia before Miami as well, and I mean, they're nice, but like, they don't go out. Nobody says hi to each other when you're passing on the street. Nobody goes out of their way to help you. Like, people are cussing you out for no reason. Like, there's a lot of just people keeping to themselves, but also people just being rude as fuck for no reason. And so coming back here, like, people were opening the door for me, and people were like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I forgot how to fucking talk to people, because, you know, you're there for so long and it becomes like how you live. And then I wasn't really talking to people unless they were my friends. So I'm very excited. Even being down in Cali this last weekend, I was like, everyone's so nice. It's so welcoming, you know. Even in Tri-Cities, like, there is this nice feel about everyone. They're always, you know, trying to say hi or how you doing, or yeah, so I'm very excited.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So I noticed on your hands,
Yeah.
your tats. So over your text on there, overcome.
Overcome or come over,
Or
whatever
come
you want.
I like that.
Oh, that's
Hey, they
Yes.
both work however you see it. So that's cool. So that's pretty much, you know, the epitome of your story, which is awesome.
Yeah. Just like overcoming anything, no
Yep.
matter what it looks like. And that's huge for me. Just, I really did not want the wheelchair to stop me from being me. And I don't want people to see the chair when they look at me. I want people to see me as Danica, as
Yep.
I've always been.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think you've definitely got the right personality
Oh yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you.
to do that. I mean, you're bubbly, you're happy, and I think that people aren't looking at you as, you know, the wheelchair. People are seeing you for you.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and obviously we met you for the first time. And
Yes.
Yeah, the
So nice to
personality
meet
is
you guys.
top tier. So
Thank
keep it
you.
up.
Yeah,
I know
we-
you will, but keep
Oh,
it up.
for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Well, so is there anything up and coming you wanna talk about?
Yeah. Well, I already told you about the Rollettes experience in July. My dad actually is moving to Texas this week. He just got a coaching offer down there, so that's pretty cool. We're both like just venturing off. And then San Diego in July as well. And there's a couple things for Rollettes that we just, you know, are continuing to work on, like for the brand and for us. And so I'm not allowed to share a lot yet, but some exciting things coming up.
That's
Follow,
awesome.
follow, follow her page.
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram.
Danica Jolene,
Stay up to
2
date.
E's.
Yeah,
Yes.
sweet.
We'll keep following and
Yep.
wait to see those projects. But
Yes.
Yeah,
we
super
appreciate
excited.
you coming on and
Thank
sharing your
you.
story
For your
and
time.
Yeah.
even just
Thank you.
educating us on some things that normally people probably wouldn't think about.